All right, welcome to Game Day Live here at John O'Boyle Field. As you can see, we got a great atmosphere set up behind us here. It's going to be a fun time today as we get ready for this semifinal matchup between Lena Winslow and Stockton. And of course, we got other big semifinal matchups going on around the state today. Down south in the 1A bracket, we have Calhoun and Brown County. We have Wilmington versus El Paso Gridley. Maroa Forsyth is playing Arthur Lovington Atwood Hammond. And then, of course, the big one in 3A North, Byron and Richmond Burton, along with 3A South in a conference rematch down there, St. Joseph Ogden and Tolono Unity. So we'll start with you, Matt. What game here between 1A and 3A is the biggest matchup that you're looking for today?
I think it's right here in Stockton with Lena Winslow and Stockton, the rematch. A big rematch. It's always hard to beat a good team twice. So it should be a tough battle between the 30 airlines, the way a semifinal game should be today.
What about you, Zachary?
I'll switch it up. I'll go to Byron and Richmond Burn. Two power run teams. I think it'll be a good game.
Greg?
I think we're here. We're living it today, boys. I think this is the best game in the state today. I think it might be the best game of the year. Period. Maybe better than any games next week. I think it's going to be great.
We got Mitch on now, so we're going to have to get a little bit tighter in here so we can all get on screen. But Mitch, welcome in. We were just talking about what we felt were the biggest teams that we could see and or the biggest matchups that we think today. What's your idea?
Well, it's probably the same thing that you guys all just said. It's the game that you guys are at right now there in Stockton. I think these are two of the very best teams in 1A this year. I think this should be an outstanding rematch of a great game in the regular season. Outside of that game, I think the Byron and Richmond Burton game is going to be a really good one. So, but all in all, this is going to be a great day.
That's exactly what Shimdog just touched on there as well. So real quick, we'll recap what happened at the 8-man state championship game last night. Zachary, you were there with me covering for both us and for View from the West for Greg and Mitch. And, we saw Polo jump out to a quick 14-0 lead. Mercer Mumford with a big first quarter. But then in the second quarter, we watched Amboy start to storm back, able to tie it up with under a minute left before halftime. And then from there, they continued to bring the show on in the second half.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job of just kind of, staying the course until they were able to find their footing and establishing the run game.
Yeah, when you take a look at the third quarter opening up, we watched Polo actually drive all the way down to the Amboy 5-yard line. They got turned away on a fourth down, coming up inches short. And then Amboy turned that into a 95-yard drive the other direction that led to the go-ahead touchdown. And then ultimately, they were able to score again later on to really put the decisive stamp on that game. But we saw Polo battle back in the fourth quarter there, albeit it was later in the fourth quarter. They were able to get another touchdown, but the minute that they couldn't convert that 2-point conversion, you could kind of see the writing on the wall as that one came to a close.
Yeah, definitely.
That game definitely lived up to all the hype that we were anticipating. I called it a 28-20 matchup on live last night, and it finished being as a 30-20 game. So that was a lot of fun. You had 24-18, I believe, was your pick in favor of Amboy. And, of course, Joe was sticking with his pick, 20-16 in favor of Polo. Either way, the game was definitely much of the hype that it lived up to be. We got a great state championship game there. Obviously, there's a lot of people already buzzing around the wayside about who should be going where and what and all that other jazz. But at the end of the day, it's about growing the game of football. And I think that 8-man's definitely doing that in a great way. And, maybe later on the View from the West podcast, we'll talk about some of that stuff on our stuff. Mitch, you were tuned in that game last night, too. What was your takeaways on that?
I thought it was a great game. Obviously, Polo really jumped out and looked really impressive. Mercer Mumford was just doing what he normally does every game. It looked like it was kind of going to go Polo's way, but Amboy's tough. They are the 3-time now defending champions for a good reason, and you saw that just start to trickle through, right? 14-0 deficit, and then they found their footing. It just looked like Amboy recovered very, very quickly in that second quarter. And then from there, once they got to 14-14, you kind of knew what was going to happen. So an outstanding game for the Clippers. What a run they've been on. And yeah, like you mentioned, it was an outstanding football game to watch. You guys braved the elements. So kudos to you guys for sticking it out in the rain and the cold.
That was all Zachary. It was not me. I had the warm press box. You called it, Mitch. It's press box season, baby.
I did see him turn up the thermostat when we got there.
I did. It was 58 degrees in the press box when I got in there. I'm like, where's the thermostat here? I turned that baby up to 70. It got nice and warm after a while, but it took a minute. Taking a look at the games today, we're going to start in Class 3A. Let's start in the 3A South bracket. Tolono Unity against St. Joseph Ogden. Obviously, that is a rematch game that Unity won 40-10 back in the regular season. What are your thoughts, Sertic, on that one today?
Well, for St. Joe Ogden, man, obviously they want to play a lot better than they did in the early season matchup. They're playing better. They're healthy. Their defense really stepped up last week against Vandalia, a team that was scoring a ton of points. St. Joe was down, I believe, 10 points in the first half, 17 points. They cut it to 3 or so, and they just got it rolling. The key for them is how are they going to stop the Tolono offense, man? They've got a pair of stud receivers in Henry and Hogard. But I think, Eckstein pounding that rock, chewing the clock and chewing yards and keeping St. Joe's offense off the field because, they like to go fast pace, and that's kind of how Tolono beat them in the playoffs last year after losing the regular season. They just ran the ball effectively, controlled the line of scrimmage, and kept St. Joe's offense off the field that day. So St. Joe is going to have to score some points, and they're going to have to find a way to get some stops. So.
Absolutely. Greg, you got any insight on that game?
Well, I mean, it's always, we have the Northwest Upstate Illini up here in this part of the state. Down in the middle part of the state, it's the Illini Prairie. Every year, these teams are meeting up late in the playoffs. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, last year, Monticello got an upset win over a conference team to go to state, right?
It was Unity.
Yeah, a team.
Unity on the Fail Mary controversy.
Yes, but they had lost in the regular season matchup. And so, again, you have that opportunity here now where Unity got the win in the regular season. Can St. Joe Ogden do it? I don't know. I think the point differential was pretty significant in the regular season game. So there's a gap there. Can they make up that gap on a playoff Saturday in the semifinals? I don't know. I guess that's why they play the games, but that should be a great atmosphere with conference rivals for sure.
Yeah, obviously that's going to take place at St. Joe Ogden on Dick Duval Field. So that's an awesome atmosphere. Obviously the two towns are separated by 20 miles, if that.
Yeah. What we looked up, they've played in the playoffs like 15 times. It's something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like not in the regular season, but in the playoffs alone, they met up that many times. So, yeah.
So taking a look, like you said, Dane Eisenmanger, 148 for 217 on the season, 2,670 yards, 29 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions. And then pounding the rock, like you said there, Matt, Crew Eckstein, 190 attempts, 1,456 yards with 22 touchdowns. And then the top receivers, Trey Hoggard and Tyler Henry. Hoggard with 53 receptions, 1,064 yards and 15 touchdowns. Henry, 49 receptions, 982 yards and 10 touchdowns. On the other side of the ball for the Spartans, they're going to be led by Cody McKinney, who is the quarterback, 195 completions on 258 attempts, 2,452 yards, 19 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. His top targets are going to be Caden Wedig and Tim Blackburn Kelly. Wedig, 46 receptions, 935 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Blackburn Kelly, 52 receptions, 640 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And then rushing the ball is going to be Wyatt Wirtz and Caden McKinney. Wyatt Wirtz, 125 attempts, 897 yards, 13 touchdowns. McKinney from that quarterback position, 156 attempts, 600 yards, 19 touchdowns. So really your classic RPO style system there. Mitch, what's your thoughts on that game?
I got a hot take that I'm going to be monitoring all day. I think there's going to be more passing yards in the first. I think there's going to be more passing yards in the first quarter of this game than the other 3 games combined.
I like it. I think that's exactly what you're going to see too.
Yeah, you guys have said the names. This Tolono offense was really clicking last week when they dominated top seed Williamsville. Had that close win against Monticello. in the second round. But this was a 40-10 win for Toledo Unity in I think that was week 3 earlier this year. So the St. Joe defense has allowed double-digit points in every single game this season. So not a good sign when the Rocket offense is playing like it is. I think this will be a really good night afternoon, I should say, for Eisenmenger. He holds all of the school records there at Unity for passing, and I think this is the day that the Rockets get back to the state championship.
Yeah, I saw his mom reached out on Facebook already saying that she was excited for the game, and I said, well, good luck to Dane. It's going to be a fun one for him, I think.
Yeah, I think
All
so.
right,
absolutely.
let's go to 3A North. Mitch, give us some numbers on the favored Byron Tigers.
Yeah, the favorite is right. This is a Byron group that can hit you in so many different ways. It's usually the names that you hear about: Andrew Talbot at quarterback, Caden Considine, Dawson Criddle, and now here comes Cole Aiken. So they've got 4 different really options that they're going to utilize today. They're all at full strength. It's a lot to handle, right? These are 2 teams that are built on very similar DNA. They're big, they're physical, they like to run the ball, and they play a really suffocating defense. I've been impressed with Richmond Burton. I was a little critical of them. I didn't think they had played the greatest. I didn't think they had the greatest resume all season going into their Monmouth Roseville game, and then their defense really shut down what the Titans were trying to do. So, I like I said in the beginning, I think this game will be the most entertaining outside of the game that you're at today, because these are 2 very, very similar teams, and it'll come down to who can execute it maybe a little bit better.
Yeah, Zachary, you were at a Byron game earlier this year, weren't you?
Yes, the IC Catholic one.
Yeah, tell us about that game, what you saw there for Byron. We don't need to touch base on IC Catholic. Obviously, they're not playing today, but what did you see in Byron that you saw as them having a lot of success against IC Catholic last week?
They did a really good job of, just kind of staying the course and making sure that they were forcing IC Catholic to do what Byron wanted, making sure that they were not being able to open up the passing game and get things going that way, and making them run the ball until they were able to find their footing on offense.
Matt, what's your thoughts?
I think Mitch hit it on the head. The DNA of these teams is so much alike. If there's anyone in the 3A bracket that can give Byron a run, I feel like it's Richmond Burton. They can run the ball effectively and kind of take the air out of the ball, kind of like Byron wants to do, So it just could come down to, who wins the line of scrimmage and who got the ball last in a game like this.
Hey, real quick though, I do have to give a quick shout out to Sean Downey. He was able to lend us our block here to give us some power. So, he's getting ready for a football game today, and on the side, he's helping us out to make sure we get this broadcast going on a high moment. So, shout out to head coach Sean Downey today for that assist.
Well, I like that you said, I'll give it back to you after the game. And he said, if we win, I don't care where it goes.
Oh, looking at Byron, like Mitch said, Caden Considine leading the rushing attack, 119 attempts, 1,463 yards, 28 touchdowns. Dawson Criddle had 72 attempts, 718 yards, and 11 touchdowns. Quarterback Andrew Talbot with 60 attempts, 492 yards, and 9 touchdowns. And then we saw Cole Aiken return in round 1 of the playoffs. He has picked up 20 attempts for 177 yards and 2 touchdowns, really starting to be another factor for this Byron Tiger offense as they look to hunt down their 3rd state championship in the last 5 seasons. Passing-wise, don't expect a whole lot there. Talbot is 18 for 36 on the season, 336 yards, 7 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Most of those passes, Caden Considine. So looking to just get quick out routes and other ways to find Considine the ball. With that, you'll see Weston Auker, Dawson Criddle, and Landon Bonvalet, the sophomore, as they will also be points of attack in that Tiger offense. But expect a lot of pound and ground from the Tigers. For the Rockets of Richmond Burton, they are led by Hunter Carley, 158 attempts, 1,759 yards, 32 touchdowns. He gets backfield mates Riley Shea with 110 attempts, 610 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Blake Livedall, 48 attempts, 352 yards, and 7 touchdowns. And Luke Johnson, 44 attempts, 453 yards, and 5 touchdowns. At quarterback is Ray Hanneman. He is 45 for 82, so just over 50% completion rate, 920 yards, 12 touchdowns to just 2 interceptions. His big targets are going to be Jace Nelson and Luke Robinson. Nelson, 21 receptions, 323 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Robinson, 16 receptions, 412 yards, and 5 touchdowns as well. That should be one heck of a game there. Obviously, everybody's got Byron favored to win that one. No shocker there. But at the same time, this is a Rockets team that is coached by Mike Knoll, who has kind of been there, done that. They were the 4A state champs here back in 2019, dominated their way to a state championship there with a win over Murfreesboro. On top of that, they've been battle tested in the 4A playoffs the last few years, and now they're here in the 3A playoffs. They're undefeated. They've had the easiest route to get to these semifinals, and they're probably well rested on top of that.
Yeah, I liked what Jeremy Adolphson said a couple weeks ago, the head coach of Monmouth Roseville. He said, when you get in that 3A North bracket, there's not a lot of easy games, and somehow Richmond Burton found both of them. So, but that's what you get when you're the top seed and you're undefeated. They've earned it. I think what really stands out to me as we head into the semifinal game with Byron is when you look at a running back like Caden Considine, you put him in any other offense around the state, and his numbers shoot up, right? Because they're going to that kid every down. In this offense, they don't need to. They have other pieces to, I think, keep him healthy, right? To keep him on the field and playing at 100%. I think on the flip side, Andrew Talbert probably goes into other offenses and throws the ball all over the place. He's going to North Carolina as a shortstop. The kid's got an arm, right? In this offense, what they do, you don't have to. So I give credit to them for playing their role and doing it really well. I think the big thing last week in that game against IC Catholic, they were up 1 score. They get the ball to start the second half, and they really slow, methodical, grind it out down the field. And you really kind of take away any momentum that IC Catholic has. You kind of just you kind of kill their will a little bit, right? Because they're losing steam as that drive goes on, and it's only a 2-score game when they score, but it felt like a lot more when they finally got that touchdown in the second half, or the start of the second half. So I think looking at this game, I really like what Byron has. Now, Richmond Burton's a different look than IC Catholic is, right? Both very good football teams. They do things a little bit differently. So that's a test, for Byron to be ready defensively. But I just really like kind of the way they're built, the way their program is trajected over the years. And here they are.
Yeah, we've talked about it the entire season. 3A North was going to be a slobber knocker, a Donnybrook, so to speak. And, it has lived up to that par so far. Obviously, Byron getting a much more decisive win over IC Catholic. But Matt, when we were watching the IC Catholic Bishop McNamara game, we saw a lot of opportunities that Byron could expose when they played IC Catholic, and they did that. And let's be honest, everybody, I think, had IC Catholic as a favorite going into that game.
Yeah, they just didn't look like the typical IC Catholic teams that we're accustomed to, as far as, just big explosive plays. I mean, they're a great ball club, don't get me wrong, but watching them versus Bishop Mac, we got the feeling texting back and forth that, Byron's probably going to be a heavy favorite in that game, and Byron took care of business.
Yeah, definitely a lot of fun. Mitch, I know that we're going to be getting games kicking off here shortly, and I know you're already on the Twitterverse taking control of all of that at headquarters there in northern Cincinnati. Help us out with some score updates as you see them start to come in, because when we get to our predictions of these outcomes, a couple of these games are already going to be started.
Yeah, no problem. We're coming up on about 10 minutes before we get the first kickoff of the day. So yeah, I'll keep you posted.
Well,
all right.
Of course, you're following along with Shimdog's guide to the broadcast schedule today. So,
of course, it's important to read and find out where those games are at. Yes,
that's right. The details are there. Just take a look.
We won't mention that any further than what we already did. All right. So let's go into 2A North. A big one there, Wilmington and El Paso Gridley. We've heard a lot from the Titan fans over the past week. They definitely want their due respect. And rightfully so. They're a young team. They only have 2 seniors on this squad, one on offense, one on defense. They're going to be basically a heavy favorite when we come back into 2026. But right now they're back in the semifinals for the first time since 2002. And it's the first time as their little consolidation co-op that they have going on too, that they've been this far in the playoffs. They have a Hall of Famer on the defensive side of the ball and defensive coordinator Brian Hassett. And then obviously the offensive side, head coach Tanner Benedict runs that as well. It should be a good game there for El Paso. But you have the heavy favorites in the Wildcats of Wilmington. And all we've seen all week long is choo-choo. Mitch, give us a little insight there.
Yeah, if you're talking about getting on the train and getting off the tracks, I mean, this is a Wilmington team that's going to surpass 5,000 rushing yards on the season today. I mean, they're just under that. They'll definitely get over that probably in the first quarter. So, yeah, this is a group. We talk a lot about Byron's weapons. Wilmington has just as many, right? Billy Moore at quarterback, Ryan Kettman, Hunter Kateshuk. And just to name those three, there are many more. But I mean, 5,000 yards rushing as a team. That's unbelievable. So yeah, El Paso Gridley has had a very good season. I've seen a couple of their games now, having played two teams in our area, having played Newman and having played Farmington. Came away really impressed, especially with their defense. Again, the problem though is you have a Wilmington group that runs as efficient of an offense as I can remember seeing. They are so disciplined in what they do. They've got a quick and physical line, and they've got any number of 3, 4, 5 running backs, quarterbacks that can hit you on any given misdirection play. So this is, I do think this could potentially be good early, but this year, Wilmington takes their games over in the second quarter. 230 points scored, only 19 allowed. So I think we'll know by halftime where this one's going to go.
And this is why we bring Mitch Stormer onto the show, because, man, he hits us with all these stat packs, and they are awesome. Great job, Mitch. Speaking of Ryan Kettman, you're welcome, buddy. Speaking of Ryan Kettman, the All-Stater, 110 attempts, 1,441 yards, 26 touchdowns. He is 5 touchdowns away from setting the new career touchdown record at Wilmington. And then he is about 700 yards shy of breaking the all-time rushing record at Wilmington as well, which is just over 4,200 yards. Will he get the rushing yards? That'll be tough. It's still very much in scope and possible. But if you take a look at what he's averaging throughout the course of the season, that looks to be like a long shot right now. But speaking of Kateshuk, 62 attempts, 807 yards, and 17 touchdowns. And then Billy Moore, 56 attempts, 757 yards, and 13 touchdowns. Those were the only 3 guys I wrote down for stats on my notepad here, Greg.
Oh, what else are you looking at?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, well, no. Okay,
that's it. That's all I wanted to point out.
I know.
But like you said, Mitch, the offensive line led by All-Stater, Zach Oland. This offensive line and the defensive line for the Wildcats is definitely on a different level than what we've seen from their 21 and 23 state championship teams. And, of course, even last year's 3A semifinalists as well. Matt, you've been able to keep in contact with a lot of Wilmington people. What's your thoughts here?
Well, you know what you're going to get out of Wilmington, man. They run, 3 or 4 plays, you can fit it on an index card. They've actually expanded, though, because quarterback Billy Moore, they've integrated him into the offense running the ball, which typically Wilmington quarterbacks don't run the ball. They pitch and lead up on the power toss play a lot. But Wilmington is just a monster, man. They're just physically head and shoulders above the rest. And it's going to be a task for El Paso Gridley, and it's not a slight in them in any way. They're a good ball club, and they deserve to be here. They're young. Playing in Wilmington is a hostile environment. It's a physical matchup. And like you said, looking into next year, they're probably the favorite in 2A, especially if Wilmington gets bumped in the 3A. So I expect Wilmington to probably take care of business rather comfortably today, but we'll see before we play the games, right?
Yep.
Zachary, you've been down to El Paso this year?
Yeah, I was there for the Newman game.
Give us some insight of what you saw from El Paso Gridley.
I think the weather played a factor, but they were really just kind of able to, similar to what Byron was able to do, they're kind of able to take Newman out of their rhythm and do what they wanted to do defensively until they were able to find their footing offensively.
Don't mind that. We got a bunch of chairs falling over in the background. It's getting a little windy here, but at least now the sun is out. It's starting to dry up the field a little bit. We have Casey Armstrong out here practicing field goals.
Yeah.
And it's a fun time here. We had Stockton players out here earlier doing a kick, pass, and punt contest between themselves. Talking to Coach Downey earlier, it seemed like they did a lot. Hey, there's our friend Kyle Leach. Even he's here. Maybe he'll stop over a little bit later and join us on the show as our celebrity guest appearance. Yeah. But no, looking at El Paso Gridley, you know, they're led on the ground by Aiden Adams, 99 attempts, 759 yards, and 12 touchdowns. Elliot Toth, 43 attempts, 293 yards, and a touchdown. And then Owen Adams, 66 attempts, 238 yards, and 5 touchdowns. But Owen Adams is also the quarterback, 128 for 204, 1,999 yards, 31 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions for the Titans. His two guys are Shavon Maxon, 33 receptions, 735 yards, and 12 touchdowns. And Javion Maxon, 30 receptions, 424 yards, and 8 touchdowns. And then he's got a third target there, too, in Braden Gibson with 28 receptions, 375 yards, and 5 touchdowns. You know, it kind of goes back to what I always say, run teams win in November. It's kind of a brisk day. It's windy up here. I'm assuming it's going to be windy in most of Illinois this week. And, yeah, I think Wilmo's definitely going to be the team to watch run all over the place today. But I wouldn't be surprised if El Paso Gridley's defense can kind of do some things to give Wilmington a little bit of a slowdown early on.
Yeah, I think Mitch kind of, nailed it when he said that it may be close early, but I think that's where you're going to see Wilmington kind of be as effective as they are, where they use that misdirection. They keep confusing you. The defense gets confused. They get frustrated. They get tired. I think that's where Wilmington wears on you, and I think that's where they pull away in this game. I look for late second quarter or definitely in that third quarter. I think it becomes, Wilmington's game.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's go into 2A South. Mitch, give us some information on what you got on the perennial power Maroa Forsyth Trojans.
Oh yeah, I got some numbers here for you that'll shock you from fans of running the football. Brian Shepard has 40 touchdowns to 2 interceptions on the year. He has 55 total touchdowns this year when you add in his rushing touchdowns. So what a dynamic player he is. He's going to throw it to his top guy. That's Zach Smith, 1,300 receiving yards and 21 touchdowns. So, yeah, this is an offense that's going to look a lot different than any of the other games that we might talk about today, with the exception of maybe Toledo Unity. But this is a group that has been the darling of the South for a long time. They are looking for their 10th trip to the state championship game under head coach Josh Joseph. It'd be their 12th in program history.
Yeah, it's amazing what Joseph is doing. I mean, he's looking for his 10th appearance at the state championship game since 2006. Unfortunately, he's the bridesmaid more than the bride, but, this is one of those years that he's hoping he can get the Trojans back there again. They were there last year where they got throttled 47-0 by Chicago Christian. And granted, they went into that game hurt. This year, they're definitely a lot more healthy, and I would not be surprised if we can see similar battles to what we saw between his teams and Gibson City Melvin Sibley back in 2017 and 18 when they made back-to-back appearances against each other. And man, those teams, that was a lot of fun to watch. You had a power run team there with GCMS, and of course the pro style offense that Maroa Forsyth runs with their RPOs. And again, if they were to meet up with a Wilmington and have Maroa Forsyth there, man, that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, power versus speed, and RTFB versus throw the football, man. So contrasting styles, and you said all the time, and it's hard to win playoff games as you get later in the year, and you never know what the conditions are at state. So that would be a fantastic matchup to watch, though.
All right, taking a look at Arthur Lovington at Wood Hammond. Mitch, you got any stats for us on that one?
I know that they had a nice win last week against Westville. Westville was a team that we expected to get out of the 2A South. And it was a great comeback win. They were down 28-14, I believe it was. And they came away with the win. So they're going to try and get going through the air today with Marcus Otto as their quarterback. The problem with that is that this Trojan defense is very, very good against the pass. They don't allow very much at all through the air. They've shown some weaknesses on the ground. So if Allah can maybe hit them with the run game, but again, this is a really, really good Moral Forsyth defensively. As much as we talk about their offense, their defense has been really, really good, and especially through the pass.
Yeah, when you take a look at Allah and Coach Jefferson's Knights here, Easton Frederick leads that rushing attack, 76 attempts, 675 yards, and 11 touchdowns. And then you have Peyton Warrior with 46 attempts for 420 yards and 3 touchdowns. Brennan Hudson with 57 attempts, 486 yards, and 5 touchdowns. And then Trey Strode, 58 attempts, 418 yards, and 8 touchdowns. So they definitely balance out the rushing attack. And like you said, Mitch, passing-wise, Otto was 41 for 64, 893 yards, 10 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. His primary receivers are Cash Hale and Jaden Parsons. Between those two, collectively, they have 38 receptions for 791 yards and 10 touchdowns as well. So all 10 touchdowns from Otto go to those two guys. So, that's going to be – it should be a fun one to see. But obviously, about the only thing that is favoring Allah in this one is that they have the home field advantage today.
Yeah, I felt like last year when we were at the state championship games, it was hard because Moral Forsyth, like we talked about, was banged up. They weren't fully healthy. But more importantly, or maybe as importantly, it felt like they were maybe a year away, right? A lot of those players were coming back the next year. They got there last year on their talented pieces and maybe some of the coaching of Joseph in that group. I think this year is more the year that they've had circled, right? I feel like they've had that extra year to gain that experience. They took a tough one last year. It felt like Chicago Christian was kind of a team of destiny last year. They were a team full of seniors, and they were riding that wave, man. Coach Cesario is a great coach, led them there. I think this is more their year. I think they're the favorite in this game. I won't give them a picks away yet, but yeah, I think it's a home game for Arthur Lovington, Atwood Hammond, but it would have to be another hard fought win for them, being that they just came off of one. They got to really keep riding that momentum.
Zachary, you got any thoughts?
I think the only real chance they have is if they're able to contain Shepard, not only passing the ball, but running the ball as well, because he is their leading rusher as well.
Yeah, you got a dynamic quarterback there that can run it. He can throw it. That's definitely very hard to stop. And Ryan Shepard's breaking a lot of Moral Forsyth records this year as well. Let's move into Class 1A. We're going to take a look at 1A South here, where one of our key contributors, Logan Swan, is hitting the field already, underway. And he gave me his picks, but I'm not going to reveal his picks at his request. So we'll keep that out of the equation today. But they are going up against Brown County, the Hornets. Obviously lost to Calhoun 21-12 back in week 9 in a cross-divisional game. And today, Calhoun comes in as a very slight favorite in what looks to be a toss-up game, but they get the privilege of playing it in Hardin on their own home field. And I'll tell you what, between these two coaching staffs here, there's a lot of legacy between both of them. On Calhoun's side, you have a lot of guys that were a part of state championship teams for Calhoun in 92 and 93, along with semifinal and state championship appearances in the late 80s. They have their kids now also playing on this year's squad, which definitely gives them a little bit of hope and excitement there for what could happen. On the other side of the ball, Brown County with Coach Tom Little and his staff. You have a bunch of guys on his staff that have played in a state championship game, like Trenton Harrelson for Carrollton back in 2014. But you also have a bunch of guys that are from those legendary Carthage teams under Coach Jim Unruh. And I was able to spend some time with Coach Unruh last night during the 8-man state championship games. And I'll tell you what, his pick is Brown County in this game, because I'm just going to throw it out there. He's going to be in attendance at that game, and it should be a lot of fun. I personally have a little bit of contact there too. My buddy Jared Hoots is the defensive coordinator for Brown County as well. So I kind of got rooting interest on both sides of this ball. But what I found to be the most interesting thing is Coach Little is a huge Packers fan, and both of his kids play for Brown County. You have Vince and Bo, and obviously Vince is named after Lombardi, and Bo is named after Lambeau. So, what a storyline there, Mitch. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, you just mentioned that you think that'll be a fun game. So, Greg, I just wanted to let you know that East St. Louis just about scored on their first play from scrimmage, but we'll go back to 1A for a moment here. Yeah, this should be fun.
That's a fun game there.
But like you said, it's a rematch of the regular season. This is Brown County's second time in the playoffs they've had a rematch from the regular season. They've already avenged one of those, right? They beat CPC earlier, and that now can they do it once again with everything on the line, trying to get to their first ever state championship appearance. So Brown County is kind of fun to follow. They don't have 1,000-yard rusher, but they've got plenty of options that they'd like to distribute the ball to. Certainly Vince Little is their quarterback, coach's kid. Good story there. He's been a 2-year starter for the Hornets, the Sting Squad, if you will. But I think if they're going to win today, it's going to have to be on the defensive side. They thrived last week, winning that turnover battle in that win last week. So it's going to be a unbelievable environment there in Calhoun. It already looks awesome. I unfortunately can't get the feed to pull up. That game has started. I can't get their feed to pull up just yet, but I think this game will be won by Brown County if they can be tight on defense.
Hey, check out BC Hornets live on YouTube. I know that they're also covering the game outside of NFHS.
Got
it. Speaking of the run game for Brown County, they're led by the fullback Trey Fullerton. His dad obviously is on the coaching staff and is also part of that legendary Carthage alum status. Trey, 136 attempts, 718 yards, 16 touchdowns on the ground. Jack Sefton, 51 attempts, 677 yards, and 11 touchdowns. And then their third back, Eli Slayton, 79 attempts, 532 yards with 5 touchdowns. Passing wise, like you said, Mitch, Vince Little, 50 for 90, 724 yards, 11 touchdowns. His main targets, brother Bo, 9 receptions, 141 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Brody Phelps, 8 receptions, 156 yards, and a touchdown. So really, a lot of balance in that rush game with a little bit of splash and pizzazz in the pass game. Taking a look at the other side of the ball for Calhoun, you have Jacob Brannon at running back, 194 attempts, 1,253 yards, and 24 touchdowns. Will Lorton, dad J.D. Lorton, 29 attempts, 310 yards, 3 touchdowns, and Jack Good, 39 attempts, 317 yards, and 6 touchdowns. At quarterback, another coach's son, Coach Aaron Elmore's son. Earl Elmore is the quarterback for Calhoun. He is 101 for 133, 1,316 yards, 14 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, almost a 76% completion rate. A lot of those passes are definitely going to be swing passes. His top targets are Jack Good, 27 receptions, 416 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Rodney Johnson, 34 receptions, 406 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then Easton Wallendorf, 25 receptions, 331 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Matt, I'm going to turn it over to you. What's your thoughts on this game? These two teams definitely look very similar in what they want to do, what they want to accomplish. They're both run-heavy teams with a little splash of play action.
Yeah, I mean, we talked in the beginning, game of the day, and I think this ranks right up there with our game and the Richmond Burton Byron game. I think this is going to be a really good ball game, a rematch of Week 9. And, I hate to use coach speak, but it's probably going to come down to the team that takes care of the football, wins the field position battle. I don't expect a lot of scoring. I mean, Brown County's really dialed in on defense right now. So it's a matter of probably who has the ball last.
Zachary, what's your thoughts?
I think just kind of going off of what Mitch and Matt said, I think in toss-up games like this, it might come down to which defense can steal possession, somewhere, forcing a big turnover when they need it.
Yeah, Greg?
When I look at this game, like it feels like even though Brown County lost in week 9, it felt like throughout the year, talking to Matt Shuckman down in Quincy, that a lot of eyes were on Brown County. This was a year everybody kind of had circled. They were looking forward to this year. And maybe it didn't materialize early and they lose that game in week 9, but it feels like maybe they find in their stride here in the most important time of the year. So I think that's something to watch for. Like, can they, flip the script here in the postseason? Because it feels like they're playing better now than even they were in week 9.
Mitch?
Quick, just watching what's going on here. Brown County punted on their first possession. They were backed up pretty far into their own territory. Not sure how they got back there, but Calhoun is now driving, and St. Joe Ogden just scored to take a 7-0 lead early in that one.
Wow.
Oh, there we go.
Hey. The fireworks are starting already. God, I love it.
And East St. Louis is up 21-0 or?
7-0. They did score though.
It's a fun game, right, Mitch?
It's a fun one for sure.
All right, let's move into the reason why we're here today. 1A North, Lena Winslow Stockton, the rematch that everybody's been waiting for since week 2. These two teams have stormed their way through the playoffs to be right where they're at here today at beautiful John O'Boyle Field. You got a slight northerly wind blowing to the south, kind of cutting across
He's
from
a meteorologist too.
west to east. And this is going to be a great day. Like I said, the sun's out. Clouds are starting to disperse a little bit. Might get a little bit more dryness into the field as the sun comes out here. It did have a little bit of dampness in it when I was stepped on it earlier to talk to a couple people before we got started. But let's go through some of the notes here real quick. And Mitch, I'm going to pitch to you first, of course. But Lena Winslow looking to book their 6th consecutive trip to the state championship game. They're in their 8th consecutive semifinal appearance. Stockton's making their first semifinal appearance since 2012. Historically, you have 2 of the most historic teams in the NUIC playing against each other here today. Stockton leads the NUIC in all-time wins. Lena Winslow leads the NUIC in all-time playoff wins. And both these teams have made a combined 14 trips to the state championship, and one of them's getting to normal next week.
Yeah, this game doesn't need any more buildup than what you just talked about and what both communities have been experiencing and building up for the last 7 days. Certainly, we talked about on our respective shows. You could see this matchup coming as soon as the brackets came out. And we saw that both of these teams were on opposite sides of the 1A North and kind of who they might have to play to get to today. We thought it was a pretty good possibility. And here it is. This is as high a stakes as you could possibly get outside of a state championship game. These are 2 of the top 1A teams, whether they're ranked 1, 2, or 3 all year. You couldn't ask for anything more than what you guys are about to see here in about an hour. So I cannot wait for this game. I'll save my kind of keys to the game until we start making picks, but I'm jealous that you guys are there. It looks like a phenomenal atmosphere. I watched Greg's highlights from Greg. What was that? 2012, that playoff game that you were at there between these 2 groups. And it just got me hyped for this. So really looking forward to watching this game and listening to this game. And I believe the winner, regardless of who I pick, I believe the winner of this game today is going to be the 1A state champion.
Yeah, I believe the 2013, I think, was the year that I was here, and I posted those highlights this week, and it's just awesome. This place is great. I love it every time. I was here last year for this same game in the quarterfinals. It's great to be back here again. They're already up cooking. They got food going, Mitch. The scene is set. It's beautiful here.
As expected.
Hey, Mitch, we talked about it. You gave me some fluff because I said John O'Boyle Field's really not that nice of a place. But I did say it was a very intimate setting here. With
Fair.
that, Matt, this is your first trip here. What's your thoughts?
This place is beautiful, man. The grass is green. The end zones are looking like infields. It's John O'Boyle Field. No, I like it, though. It's very old school. There's no track around the field. The fans are going to be on top of things tonight, so it's going to be a great atmosphere.
Mitch, go ahead. Finish what you were going to say.
Oh no, I was just giving Serge some props because he knows good when he sees it. So I'm glad. I wish I was in his shoes experiencing that for the first time. I wish I could go back.
Oh man, I tell you what, I'll be honest though. While I say it's not nice, it's not the fact that it's not the. I mean, it's a great intimate setting here, and I honestly, this was always one of my favorite places to play because literally, as a visiting team, you have to walk through the home crowd to enter the field, and you got to listen to all their Stockton jarb that they throw out at you when you're walking onto the field, which makes it even more fun when you are the visitors taking the field here. I'll tell you that right now.
Real quick, Brown County just came up with an interception, so they get the ball right back inside their own 20. So they got some room to go, but an interception there on Calhoun's first drive.
There you go.
Yep. So still scoreless there at Brown County and Hardin Calhoun. That game is in Hardin, so man, that's going to be a lot of fun to keep tabs on that. Mitch, just keep tagging us all day long. Twitter feed will be bursting with a lot of excitement today.
Oh,
I'm waiting for
absolutely.
Bully to show up with Big E and their championship belt.
They're on the way.
They're on their way with gas station sandwiches and energy drinks, they said. So, hey, we just
pick me up another monster.
We just saw the Lee Win bus go by, buses honking, fans waving and cheering. So it's awesome.
Yes, Lee Win is officially here. Mitch, we just had your buddy Austin Rickles around here. He said he was going to be right back, so he might have an element of surprise to throw into the show yet here.
Ooh, is he going to bring some gear finally?
We shall see. But let's get to this matchup here. All right. So for Lena Winslow, Aiden Wild leads the way. 209 attempts, 1,782 yards, and 30 touchdowns, 8.5 yards per carry. Alex Schlichting, his backfield mate, 119 attempts, 1,396 yards, 17 touchdowns, almost 12 yards per carry, which is right around what his career average is as well. Definitely living up to the standard there. Both these guys have reached and eclipsed the 3,000-yard plateau. Both of them have over 40 career touchdowns now in their careers. And Wild last week went over 50 career touchdowns. So now he's starting to push the opportunity to be in that 60 touchdown club mark, which is held by Sean Ormiston from that 2019 Lena Winslow team. So a lot of excitement there. Matt, I'm going to pitch to you. You got to face this Lena Winslow squad in round one last year. And between you and one of your buddies, assistant coach Brandon Schoon, you guys had a lot of fun listening to Bing Wells at the old Panther Den at the Lee Win Athletic Bowl. What's your thoughts on this Lena Winslow squad?
Obviously, man, they are just a great program. It speaks for itself. 5, 6 titles, whatever it's been in the last decade. Coach Aaron, one of the best coaches around, man. They're just be well coached. They're not going to beat themselves. They're going to play a physical brand of football. Their kids' mindset should be pretty hungry after what happened week 2. So I expect to come on full force, but was overly impressed with Stockton watching them on film last week. Defensively, man, they are just fast and they swarm the football, man. And you said earlier, man, slobber knocker, man. It's just going to be – they're just going to go at it like two horns just hidden for 4 quarters. It's going to be fun.
Fast-paced game?
Probably not.
Zachary, what's your thoughts here on Lena Winslow, and then we'll get into the Stockton part.
Yeah, I think their biggest goal is to try and establish the line of scrimmage, get the running game going, because that's, important to the Lena Winslow offense, obviously.
And Greg, you got to see these guys last week in Kewanee. And, obviously you've been downstate with me a few times as we covered Lena Winslow for like the last decade there.
Yeah.
What you got?
I mean, I think obviously, like you mentioned, this is Lena Winslow's time of year, right? This is when they win their football games and when they look the best. I think on the opposite side, though, like this is a year that Stockton comes into this game, going back and forth all week. Like for the first time in a long time, it feels like we could have somebody other than Lena Winslow be the favorite in the game, right? And so we'll get to the picks in a little bit, but I think that statement alone is a testament to what we think of Stockton right now and how well they're playing. I think the big key to this game is both coaches or both coaching staffs are going to have a wrinkle. They're going to have a play formation that's different. Yep. They're going to do something that looks different. Which one can be most effective? Which one catches the other team off balance enough? I don't think you'll catch them off balance a lot because they're two really good football teams, but it's the game of inches, right? Like who's going to give or what's going to give there is really key to me.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot of fun there again, Mitch. Looking at Stockton, I mean, we were watching them out here on the field about, I don't know, half hour ago or so. They don't look to be uptight at all. They looked very loose, very methodical, having fun, exactly what you expect. And, you know, I've said it a lot, especially this year and last year. If there's one team that's not afraid of Lena Winslow, it's the Stockton Blackhawks. And they proved that here in week 2, but we're not in week 2 anymore. This is week 13 as we get ready to go down to Normal to play on the big stage at Hancock Stadium. And one team has done it and another team is hoping to do that, and that's the Stockton Blackhawks. That three-headed monster that we continue to hear about, led by Jack Mensendijk, 150 attempts, 1,343 yards, 16 touchdowns, 9 yards per carry. Backfield mate Carter Blair, 77 attempts, 717 yards, 7 touchdowns, averaging 9.3 yards per carry. And then the fullback, Mark Detweiler, 107 attempts, 482 yards, and 10 touchdowns at 4.5 yards per carry. Those numbers aren't prevalent of what Detweiler did last season. Obviously, he's been more of a focal point for teams to stop this year. But on top of that, that's definitely opened up a lot of space to get Mensendijk into that open field. My X factor for Stockton today, though, is the quarterback Noah Larson. It's 53 of 87 passing for 1,015 yards, 18 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions, 61% completion rate. And his big targets are the same ones they've been all year. Morgan Hass and Eli Larson. Hass leads this team, 20 receptions, 314 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Larson, 10 receptions, 253 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Those guys collectively, 20 yards per catch.
Yeah, it's impressive, you know, what they do offensively all the way around, right? They can catch teams off balance. They can throw the ball. And, you know, you're right. I think that could be an X factor. If they continue to have success that way against Lena Winslow, that will go a long way in this game.
Matt?
You know, he said, you know, the hidden wrinkle. I'm going to say the first coach to break character and line up in shotgun will win this ball game.
Mitch, give us your thoughts. You've seen a lot from these two this year.
Yeah, well, I think going back to what you just said, if there's a team that's not really afraid of Lena Winslow, yeah, it's absolutely the Stockton team. Not only because they came away with that win in week 2, but this is a Stockton group that we, on this show, on your show, across the state, put a lot of pressure, I guess, on a lot of hype around Stockton this year. This was the year that we thought that this would be a team that could compete for the NUIC title, that could be the team that gets over Lena Winslow, and they did that. So those expectations have been on this group all season. They have thrived. They have met their match. They have. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but they've exceeded every single week. They've elevated. They've gotten better. And even though in those first 2 playoff games this year, we kind of wondered, okay, well, what's going on with the offense? There were reasons behind that, and that was really just kind of opponent's game plan. But then you saw in the quarterfinal, that was the Stockton team that we are used to seeing all year. This defense has still allowed, 3 points in the postseason. So, yes, this is a group of Stockton Blackhawks who are just continuing to play well. They've played well all year. And a Lena Winslow group who have really turned things around. It started with that week 2 loss to Stockton. That very next week, they came back and beat a 4A playoff team in Rochelle. And since then, they have not slowed down. So this is just going to be a blockbuster of a game. I really do believe it's going to live up to the hype. And here real shortly, we're going to find out who's moving on.
Real quick, Mitch, we just got the smell of pork chops and we heard a semi truck go by, so you know you're in Stockton for a game day.
Oh yeah,
So we're good.
beautiful, beautiful.
The city park of Stockton at John O'Boyle Field is lighting up. Obviously, I put pictures out on social media earlier as soon as me and Matt and Shimdog were here. And I've never seen a place so packed with empty chairs all over the place as it was when we got here. And I was told this all started on Monday.
Oh, man.
That's just crazy. I mean, that goes back to what Logan tells us all the time about people parking trucks on the Calhoun Hill. I think the chairs here outnumbered the trucks, though.
That's true. That's true.
Hey, real quick. Calhoun has the ball back, but that game is still scoreless. St. Joe Ogden is kind of taking it to Tolono. It's 14-6 now. Tolono did score; they did not get the extra point, but St. Joe went on like a 5 or 6 play drive and scored right back. So St. Joe Ogden looking good early.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, wow, that's definitely kind of a turn of the tides in that one, but not surprised. You know, Mitch, you said it before. It was Monticello who upset Unity last year, and Monticello gave Unity everything they could the second time around. St. Joe Ogden obviously doing that right now for those guys as well. And look at this. We got your buddy Austin here.
There he is. There he is.
Now, what are we wearing here for gear?
This is my Tolono Unity sweatshirt.
Hold on, I came prepared. So I pooled all of our wedding money after that traumatizing, great night, but traumatizing same time.
Yeah.
What do we got here? So Stormer, here's your first selection.
Okay.
So here, first
I love
option, little LW.
I love it.
Okay, second option here.
Okay.
Now, this is straight coaching gear.
I've seen you wear that hat.
Absolutely, yeah.
He's got it on right now.
Straight from the coaching staff. And your third option. So there's no real reason not to be representing the LW today.
Other than those hats are in your hands and not on my head.
Well, hopefully we can make a handoff next week. We'll see what happens.
Right, that's the deal.
Meyer and Greg, maybe they can pick the other two.
There you go. I definitely got one eyed out here.
That's the deal,
right,
Coach Rickles.
so
you win today, and I'll meet you on the field in normal, and you can hand deliver those to me when you win today. Okay?
I love that. Well, you're going to get last pick because these guys here are getting the first two. Because I'm keeping these behind, so you get whatever's left over. All right, man. I love you.
Good.
Go Panthers.
Hey, good luck today, buddy.
Good luck, Coach. Have a good day today.
Hey, thanks for doing what you guys do. You guys are great, positive advocates for our student athletes here, and nothing like a Highway 20 showdown. Let's go.
So last night we had a great introduction with Coach Alston getting on, and then now today we get Coach Rickles coming on. And Mitch, sounds like you're going to get some Lee Wind gear coming your way, buddy.
Finally, I love it. Nothing would make me happier to be hand delivered that gear in normal, regardless of my pick. I'm not giving anything away. But I'm so excited for either one of these teams to be on the field and to be covering these guys next week. It's going to be great.
I agree with that sentiment right there. And what you said earlier, I think whoever wins this game is going to be the state champion next week when we get to normal. I've said it all year that the North is 2 touchdowns better than the South this year. I've been stating that. I've had people saying that I'm full of myself and all this other stuff. But outside of the Metro East All-Stars, I mean, let's be honest. When it comes to anybody else right now, it has been the NUIC, and Camp Point Central did a great job of getting in there here in 2023. And Coach Dixon's built up a great program. Obviously, they were definitely the favorites to come out of the South. They got upended by this Brown County team playing today for their opportunity to get their first shot at a state championship, but going up against a very tested and hardened Calhoun team that also had to go up against Camp Point Central last season, beat them in week 2, but then lost to them in the quarterfinals. So it'll be very interesting. Either way, we're definitely getting an NUIC WIVC state championship game for the 4th time in 5 years. 2 great conferences getting ready to go at it. It's going to be a ton of fun.
That's that job security that we talk about, right, Mitch? That's the job security.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Well, I think between both of us, we've definitely spread out our wings and are flowing, because there's people from all over the state now that follow everything that we do, every step that we make.
Oh, El Paso Gridley, man. They're telling us every week what we're doing wrong. So I'm just kidding.
No, you're not, because I hear it too. What do you think here? What's your takeaways or keys to the game? Let's start there. Keys to the game.
Obviously, turnovers, man. We can't turn over the ball in a big game. Who establishes the line of scrimmage in the run game? And maybe another aspect you don't think about if two teams don't really kick, special teams, field position, punt returns. And somebody bust one and maybe flip the momentum of things. So it's about as even as a matchup as you get, man. It's going to be a heavyweight fight, pound for pound, man. Who's going to throw the last punch?
So talking about that special teams and kicking game, we have seen Lena Winslow kick a couple field goals here this season. Stockton, they were out here practicing a couple. They have the capabilities, but can they make that happen in a game situation when you have a rush coming at you and the stakes are higher? That'll be the difference maker. And I think you're right, Matt. I think special teams is going to be a huge part here. Zachary, how about you? We'll go to you next. What's your keys here?
I think it's just making sure you're doing the little things, not making mental mistakes, limiting penalties.
Greg?
Yep.
Yeah, I think, like I said before, I think it's the which coach throws in something that can be somewhat again, I don't think you're going to catch them flat-footed. These teams are too good, but it's just that little things that you do different that gets you an extra first down, an extra, a couple yards for a touchdown. And Casey, if we get you signed up for Stockton or Lee Win schools real quick, can you kick for somebody today? Is that? Yeah.
Well, I think he exhausted his eligibility status for the season.
That's true. Oh, that's true.
Yeah, Davenport Central.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. Well,
sorry, buddy.
it's a different state.
The transfer rules still apply. I don't think there's enough time. Well, not if you're East St. Louis. I mean, never mind. Never mind. Anyway, Mitch, keys of the game for you.
We're gonna see it, and we're gonna talk a lot about the run game between these two teams. But I think that this game is going to be decided in the defensive backfield. Can Lena Winslow overcome what has kind of been their Achilles heel all year and giving up big chunk plays or long scoring plays? We saw that against Annawan Wethersfield. Granted, the game was out of hand, but still, that's something that opponents have been able to kind of do on the Panthers defense all season. And on the other side of the ball, Stockton looked really good stopping Dwight's passing attack last week. So can they do the same if they are forcing the Panthers to throw the ball, or can they too stop those plays from getting into the secondary?
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, that's something that we have talked about all year. Can Lena Winslow slow down a passing offense? One of the things that we saw happen back in week 2 is Lena Winslow was stopping Stockton's rushing game, but then it came to 3rd and long, 4th and long, and Stockton was able to get the pass game going with effectiveness. Larson was 8 for 9 passing in that game, converting big first downs, and then also getting a couple big touchdowns as well. And then with that, they were winning that line of scrimmage battle coming off the line. That there is going to be the big key here as well. Who can establish the dominance on both sides of the ball in the trenches on that line? Has Lena Winslow been able to get their ability to pack that punch that was missing back in week 2? The only team that we've seen so far this year that has actually beat Stockton off the line was Dupec in the early goings, but even they could not withstand that wrestler mentality that Stockton brings, and Stockton was able to wear them down late in the game, ultimately deciding that game with a late touchdown push to give them the lead and ultimately the victory there.
I just see Lee Win is walking out, not in pads quite yet, but they're walking out, checking things out. So, we're starting to see some movement around here. That's exciting.
Yeah, we're almost getting time to get to the end of our show here. And, Casey, why don't you turn the camera here real quick? Give people a quick view of the line starting to build up over there.
Trying to see it back there behind the dugout.
Yeah.
Behind the third base dugout.
A lot of people starting to line up. There's lines at both ends of the field. All right, Casey, you can bring the camera back to us now. But lines at both ends of the field here, definitely starting to pack in. Parking already starting to become a premium. Matt, aren't you glad you came earlier?
Absolutely. It was worth the 3-hour drive. I'm telling you.
And Zachary, you actually beat me here this morning.
Yeah.
You were telling me, hey, let me know when you get there. And I'm like, well, I'm like 5 minutes out, but sure.
Yeah. Yep.
And then,
Early.
Yeah.
Get here early. Yeah.
and then Greg comes storming in a little after 12 o'clock.
Oh, it's crazy getting out of my house, man. It's chaos. So
Typical.
Well, that's what happens when you live in Iowa.
that's true. Yeah. And somebody forgot his kicking tee at home, so we had to double back and grab a kicking tee. So
1 year it's the van. Now it's the
I know.
kicking tee.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Just wait till next week and whatever the excuse is.
You stop, Mitch. You stop.
Hey, I can't wait to get to next week already because obviously we got a great day in front of us here. But going through and doing this setup in the press box at Illinois State is going to be unreal. And Mitch, we get to actually have you in person, which is even better.
I can't wait. I think all of us here need to have a production call probably tomorrow to find out what we're going to all be doing and who's going to be where, so we can really be on our game. But I think we're going to be able to provide the best coverage of small school football, not only today, not only all season, but certainly at State next week. Can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's time to get to our picks, and we'll start with you, Mitch. We'll start in 3A. Who's your picks to go?
Okay, so yeah, certainly keeping an eye on this game right now. That game remains 14-6. St. Joe Ogden is winning, and they have the ball, so they are looking good. But I made this pick a couple days ago. I think that Solano Unity will win this game. They're down right now, but I think their offense has been, as we talked about, so good, both through the air and on the ground with Eisenmenger and with Eckstein. So right now, it's not looking good. St. Joe's been playing really good on defense, and their offense is clicking. But I picked Solano Unity to win this one and get into the 3A state championship.
Greg, who do you have in 3A South?
I also went with Unity. I just felt like that score differential in the first time they met was too much. And I think I thought I would see that play out in this one. Not so far, but we'll see. I'm going to stick with Tolono Unity.
I'm in the same boat. I had Unity as well. Again, going back to what you just stated, Greg, I thought that a 30-point differential would be too much. And I've said that since the playoff bracket came out and we saw BCC go into that North bracket, Unity was the favorite. And here they are, and obviously behind, but I'm still pulling for the Rockets in this one. I said it was the year of the Rockets on the playoff show, if you remember.
Yeah, that's right.
Rockridge failed us, but
Well,
Unity's still here.
Well, St. Joe Ogden's coach, Sean Skinner, is a good friend of mine, and I hope he pulls it off today, but I'm a really bad friend, and I made this pick 2 days ago. I also picked the Unity Rockets. Same reasons. Yeah. That point differential from week 2 or 3, whatever they played, to now, it's a lot to overcome, but it's a rivalry game, and it's St. Joe and Tolono. Plus, Tolono is 6-0 all time in quarterfinal, semifinal games against St. Joe Ogden. So,
Look at that.
The stockpile nugget there. Zachary.
I got Unity as well. It doesn't seem like our Rockets by a million stickers made it here in time for this.
Our friend Ty Taylor also picked Unity. Okay. Just going to throw that out there because he couldn't make the trip up here today, so we're just going to throw his pick in there for him.
Already in basketball season.
Oh, poor guy. All right, hey, 3A North. Mitch, go.
Byron. I think they've got too much firepower. They're too good up front on both sides of the ball. Defensively, if Richmond Burton does try and pass, they've been really good with Talbert or Considine. As good as they are on offense, they can ball hawk on defense too. So no, I got Byron. I think it's going to be comfortable. I don't think it'll be big. I think it'll be comfortable. Byron gets back to the state championship.
Greg?
Agreed. For the same reasons Mitch said, I think it's Byron.
Yeah, I'm not wavering from that pick either. I got the Tigers.
Byron.
Hey, guess what? Ty picked Byron too.
Yeah. Has that one started? When's that one start?
That starts at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Mitch is going to have that one on speed dial.
Yep.
I can already tell.
Yeah, and a quick update just before you get to 1A. It is still 0-0 there, Brown County and Calhoun. Brown County just got the ball back on their own 40. It's well into quarter number 2. Still 0-0. Both teams just not finding a ton of success. It's been really good defense here.
Hey, Logan said it was going to be a low-scoring game. He wasn't wrong so far.
No.
Yeah.
What an exciting time. Mitch, I'm going to have you go last for 2A and 1A because I know you got some things you definitely want to put out there. So we're going to go 2A South. And Zachary, I'm going to start with you. 2A South, Moreau Forsyth, Arthur Lovington, Atwood, Hammond. Who you got?
I'm taking Moreau. I just think their high-powered offense is going to be too much for Ala to handle.
I agree. You know, coming off the emotional win last week for Arthur that not a lot of us saw coming, you know, how do they react and respond today? But I won't bet against Josh Josephs today.
Yeah, I think it's a hard bet to go against Josh Josephs. I like what Coach Ryan Jefferson's doing at Ala. He obviously upset Westville, who was my favorite to get to the state championship game this year, just because of that run game that they had. But Moreau all day today.
Yeah, I think this is a team that last year was, frustrated because they weren't coming into that game 100%. This year, I think they're motivated to get back to the turf there in Normal. So, Josh Josephs, I think we'll be talking to him again this week in a preview.
I love talking to Josh.
Yep.
Mitch.
Yeah, same. I think this offense is clicking. I think they've got a pretty bad taste in their mouth from last season, how that ended. Certainly the weather might have affected their game plan anyway, but Kyle, I think you mentioned too that they were really banged up and they just weren't the same Moreau Forsyth team going into that matchup. And that was a good Chicago Christian team and you needed to be at full strength to go toe to toe with them. But since then, Moreau has looked really good. Offense is on fire. I expect they're going to be back in the state championship next week.
Yeah, definitely excited for that one. Let's go 2A North. We got Wilmington and El Paso Gridley. Zachary, you're up, man.
Taking the Wildcats.
Oh, don't hurt me there.
Cat's big.
Choo choo.
Well, I've been making them mad all year, so at least in the postseason anyway. I'm once again picking against El Paso Gridley. I'm going Wilmington, man.
Mitch, to you, buddy.
Yeah, third week in a row that I've paid against El Paso Gridley. I was wrong the first 2 weeks. I don't think I'll be wrong today. I think Wilmington's going to roll.
Our friend Ty Taylor also went with Wilmington and Moreau Forsyth for this state championship game.
That's going to be, if we get to that, that's a fantastic matchup. I can't wait to talk about that one if we get it.
What a contrast of styles that would be, Wilmington and Moreau Forsyth.
Yep, exactly.
I think at least one of the more interesting state championship games on that Friday. All right, 1A South. They're letting the crowds in. We got to hurry this show up before we get attacked over here. Zachary.
I'm going to take Logan's Calhoun team.
All right.
I'm sorry, Logan. I'm a bad friend again. I took Brown County.
Hey, we got the championship belt here, Big E and Bowling. Here we go. Casey, you better grab that belt.
Turn the camera.
We got Big E and Nick Bull here today.
Beautiful country in Northern Illinois. We looking forward to this, man. This is exciting. Long line, but we skipped the line and come over and hang out with you guys. So, setting.
What a beautiful place to see some Smash Mouth and UIC football.
Looking forward to it. Absolutely looking forward. I've never been here. Have seen, years and years of highlights and videos. Just never been, up here, made a game. So this screams 1A football. This is why after that 3A game, I just kind of tune out. You don't get that anywhere else. So
What an atmosphere. And the whole way up here listening to you guys, great job.
yeah,
I don't want to break character or anything, but I think someone up here, I know I don't get a pick, but Mr. Wild over there, he's going to earn it today.
pick.
Hey guys, thanks for coming, and we'll see that bell here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got the stickers. Zachary was just talking about it. Rock. No, we're having a lot of fun here now as we get ready. We got the Rockets by a million stickers here, and oh yeah, we just come in through the dugout over here. Yeah, it's definitely lockdown. I mean, you gotta go small school football. You got small school fencing too. Oh, what a great time! Oh yeah, it's there. Yeah, Richmond Burton's there, but you know the favorites, the Byron Tigers. All right, well that was a lot of fun.
The tag team champs of the world.
Man, come up right. Man, those are some big dudes too. Let's go. Well, we're on 1A. Yep. So it's my turn. You know, I've said it all year. I felt like this was the year we could see Calhoun getting to the state championship game. While it would be great to see Brown County be there for the first time, especially with a lot of rooting interest I have for the Brown County Hornets and the Sting squad, my pick is Calhoun. I got Calhoun.
Like I mentioned earlier, it feels like that potential is being unlocked in Brown County. I'm going with Brown County. I'm going with the Hornets today.
Mitch, to you, buddy.
Yeah, so this game just went to half. It is still 0-0. I took Brown County in this one. I like their story. I like that they have the chance to avenge their only two losses this year, both in the playoffs, and get to their first state championship. So I went with Brown County here.
How much did the helmet impact your pick, Mitch?
You know what? Watching this game, I like Calhoun's uniform. The helmet doesn't look too bad there for Calhoun, but yeah, that's just a fantastic helmet. Good color scheme there with Brown County. So it played a role for sure.
Okay, there you go.
You know, being a Michigan fan, I am also a fan of that helmet as well. And I'll be honest, that Kelly green and white definitely looks very, very good. But yeah, Calhoun's got a very interesting uniform style and helmet style that speaks old school. And Mitch, I know you love old school, so I definitely like Calhoun as well. But all right, now to the big game. 1A North. Zachary, you get to go first, buddy.
You know, I think Lena gets to their 6th straight championship game.
Simple, short, easy. You got it.
30-28 in double overtime. Lena Winslow.
Oh, suspense.
All year, I have said that you have a team that has the Superman appearance in Lena Winslow, and you have the other team in the Stockton Blackhawks that hold Lena Winslow's kryptonite. But on the other side of the field, you have the GOAT in Rick Ahrens. You have the running game of Wild and Schlichting. You have the run game of whoever you want to throw out there, and all the legacies that come with being a Lena Winslow Panther. This is not an easy pick to make. I think it's going to be a dogfight of the game. Whoever wins today is definitely going to earn that fight. We're not seeing a 3-score win here. Lena Winslow is my pick to win, 28-22. It's going to be a fun one.
So I want to preface my pick by saying, I think most of you guys realize after this year doing this, I hate making picks. I really hate making picks at games I'm at. So that's a double whammy for me here. I really hate making picks for teams I have a ton of respect for. There's a triple whammy. I hate making this pick. I look at it and it's a win-win situation for us. We're going to have one of these great teams going to normal next week. I think for me, I say it a lot, somebody this time of year has got to prove it. They got to beat Lena Winslow. I'm leaning Lena Winslow, and I would love to be wrong, right? Because I think Stockton's a great team, a great story. I'm going Lena Winslow.
All right, Mitch. Oh, wait. Mitch, before you go, we'll throw in Ty Taylor's pick real fast because I said I wanted you to go last. Ty Taylor has Lena Winslow against Brown County.
Okay, there you go. All right.
You're up, Mitch.
Like we said, like we said, we've been talking the Stockton team up all year. We knew what they had coming back. We knew that the talent level was going to be there, and we thought that they were going to be the team to get past Lena Winslow. They did that early this year, and they've won ever since. They've rolled through this playoffs, and they look really good. But as you just mentioned, Kyle, on the other side of the field today is a generational run of a team in Lena Winslow. They have been to the state championship year after year after year after year. Legendary head coach there with Rick Aaron. They have figured out what they're doing on offense, getting that ball to Alex Schlichting, getting that ball to Aiden Wild. Could they get past Stockton and avenge that week 2 loss? I say no. Stockton is going to go to the 1A state championship this year. They will go back and they will take on Brown County next Friday.
Oh, baby, there it is. The picks that we've been waiting for. Greg, go ahead and throw that graphic up on the screen right now. There they are. There's everybody's picks, A to Z. Oh, you got to throw it back up there. Yep. That way all the viewers that are still on here, and we appreciate everybody that's here watching us today. I see we have a ton of viewership, but there you go. 1A, 2A, 3A for Zachary, Ty, Matt, Greg, Mitch, and myself. So what a great time to be alive here as we get ready to book our trip to normal.
So Mitch is the only one that officially went Stockton, but I will say on the way here, my son also picked Stockton. So Mitch is not alone in his Stockton pick.
I was talking to Coach Downey earlier. I originally had written on the notepad Stockton as well. I reversed my pick. I don't know. It's one of those things. It's Lee Wynn's time of year. And like Greg, like you said, somebody has to prove it.
Yeah.
Stockton has to prove. Can they beat this Lena Winslow team twice? I think that they can.
Yeah.
I think that they can. I
think you nailed it when you said that Noah Larson is the key to this. I think that they have the tools to get into that Lee Wynn secondary the same way they did in week 2. And as I mentioned, that's kind of been one weak point of Lee Wynn's game is that secondary. So that is why I picked Stockton today. I think they're going to expose that a little bit in the pass game.
All right, so there you go. Obviously, we got fans piling in here now. And I got Tony Gilbertson. Go Blue, baby! Yeah. We got Tony Gilbertson here getting loud and proud. Good Lena Winslow Panther backer there. He's excited. Will his kid be one of the ones that can step up in that defensive secondary today and make big plays happen for the Panthers? Time will tell, but that's definitely the area of concern for Lena Winslow in this game. Other side of the ball, can Noah Larson be as consistent today as he was in week 2? And what team's going to win this line of scrimmage?
Lena. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, all game long, I don't know, but I think that Lena's going to come away with just enough to win the game. Yep.
Well, we already heard Big E's stuff here. Get over here, Big E. Let's go. Let's come over here real quick. I want you right here, dead center. Show the people's belt here.
This is what we got going on here. This is actually originally a Rockridge varsity baseball prop, but we really took it to the next level with the Rockets by a Million. I've been watching 1A, 2A, all of you guys. We just love good high school football. And I truly think the energy and the stuff that you feel here can never be replicated. And so that's why we drive 2.5 hours. We have no vested interest. This is amazing.
Bully's challenging you on that.
Bull drives he's Bull. I'm not worried. I wasn't worried at all. Yeah, it's a great place. Great. We're all here. We're all joined up here just to see an awesome football game. I truly believe it's gonna be Lee Wynn.
There you go. All right. Again, thank you all for joining. Mitch, keep us updated on your side of things. It's going to be a fun day. We're an hour away from kickoff almost, about an hour and 4 minutes. Going to be a ton of fun. It's live on NFHS. You can also pick it up. I think Kyle Leach is also doing part of the broadcast. I don't know if he's doing it
through NFHS.
I think he's doing it on the NFHS camera as well, but he'll be a great listen. People have been asking radio station bigradio.fm 1021. Don Wernz, Butters Reed, and Larry Phelps are all here today, as expected, to cover this big Goliath matchup here in Stockton at John O'Boyle Field. Going to be a ton of fun. We'll see y'all tonight for Instant Reacts at 9:30. Going to be a ton of fun. Greg, Mitch, and the gang all going to be there. So we'll see you then. Later.